surrogate, Lindy Li. So we're hearing from Democrats, Attorney General of the state of New York, Letitia James, among them, saying, we didn't expect this to happen. Why not?
John, thank you so much for having me. Obviously, this was not the outcome that we had anticipated. We had expected to at least cling on to one or two of the blue wall states, but unfortunately, it was a full sweep. We were hoping for Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Nebraska, the 2nd Congressional District. So needless to say, it was basically, if anyone has seen Game of Thrones, it was a red wedding. It was a bloodbath. So everyone is in a state of shock. The gender gap that we were pining for did not materialize to the extent, in a meaningful extent, and obviously youth and Latinos and African Americans, a lot of them went over to Trump. So there's going to be a lot of soul searching in the next couple of days. I hope that we can do an honest assessment and not criticize the people who have ideas and solutions about how we can move forward, because if we do not acknowledge the rightward turn of America, we're going to keep losing. Right.
Well, you did say in an interview last night that you thought that Tim Walz was part of the problem.
I do. Well, I'm biased. I'm from Pennsylvania. I'm a huge fan of my own governor. He is tremendously popular across the state, and not just in the liberal bastions of Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, but also in the T.
Was that the big mistake?
I think it's one of several factors. I think there were several factors that led to this result, but I think definitely contributed to this. And even if Shapiro was only able to bring up the margin by 1% in a campaign of margins, it could have potentially made a huge difference. And perhaps it would have allayed fears of voters in other blue wall states, because Shapiro is famous for being a moderate. Yeah. He would have counterbalanced the ticket and reassured the American people that Kamala Harris is not that San Francisco radical that Trump accuses her of being.
Yeah, a lot of people believe that she was just so afraid of losing the Muslim and Arab American vote in Dearborn, Michigan, and she lost it anyways. A lot of people point to this, Lindy, as the kiss of death for her campaign. Listen here.
If anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
When she said that, the sound of hair being pulled up by her campaign staff was palpable. I mean, was that a huge mistake? Is
Honestly,
that where everything turned?
not just her campaign staff. That was a statement heard around the world. Yeah. Because Americans are dying for a difference. They're dying for a change from the Biden administration. And she needed to go out there and make the case that she wasn't going to be Biden 2.0. She was going to be Harris. Unfortunately, she blurred the lines between the two. That was her opportunity to say, I'm going to take drastic measures to bring down inflation. I'm going to make sure that our border is secure. That was her opportunity. And unfortunately, you know, in The View, the hosts on The View, they're the friendly crowd. Oh, yeah. They wanted to give her an opportunity to explain, but unfortunately, she didn't take that. But she did walk back her statement 40 minutes later when she said, I would appoint a Republican to the cabinet. So at that point, she probably realized that she probably should have articulated a more forceful and compelling answer.
So real quickly,
because right now it's a very...
Yeah. Just before we let you go, what does this victory mean for President Trump? Because he went through the crucible to get to where he is today.
I just want to say, as a proud and grateful American, I wish President Trump the best. I wish him every success, because I want our country to succeed. That's just, you know, you can expect Democrats to accept the outcome of the election. There's not going to be an insurrection. There's going to be peaceful transfer of power, and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are going to be there. Congratulations to President Trump, and all of us have to do everything we can to move our country forward.
Lindy Li, great to catch up with you. Thank you so much. We'll see you again soon.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.